Diary, good evening. It's middle of November. We're here in the cave with my little helper who's monitoring the situation. And the point of this video is to talk about a bit of mea culpa, which is the fact that I've had an IBM XT 286. It's a computer that I've used as a vintage computer imaging machine, and it was last used about 2016, 2017, so about 7 or 8 years ago. It's been mothballed all of that time, and I first constructed it in about 2007, and I first bought the computer in about, let me think, something like 1984, 1985. I've had it with me all of that time. So yeah, that's over 40 years. The XT286 was the same chassis as an IBM XT, but contained an AT style processor, i.e. a 286 processor. So this wasn't a PC80, it was a PC-XT chassis with a 286 processor in it, and therefore it could run things like Windows version 2. It had a 286 processor, so it could run protected mode operating systems. So at the time, and I'm including with this machine, several sets of disks. I'm including my DOS disks, so that would be a 16-bit operating system. I'm including the operating system PCIX, which is IBM's version of a port of Unix, which was released in the early 80s. Now, this is an extremely rare bit of software. I think it's on something like, I think it was 9 disks for the OS, and something like about another 8 or 9 for the options. And to my knowledge, it may not even run on this machine because I think it might need a monochrome display adapter. So what machine am I selling? And unfortunately, I can produce pictures, which I shall show you in this video. Cut here. So as per some of the pictures, this machine is quite a special machine. It's been used to make thousands of diskette images, so thousands, at least 8,000 diskette images for Kremenko users. And how was that done? Well, first of all, it contains a graphics card adapter with a VGA output. And so that means to say that even in the year 2025, you can plug in a VGA screen, which you can still buy, just about. It's difficult, but you can buy them. And you can buy a native VGA screen, i.e. not using a VGA to HDMI converter, because that doesn't normally support all the right refresh modes. So you can plug in a 2025 screen to this computer. Secondly, I'm including a PS2 keyboard and a PS2 to old IBM PC adapter plug so that the keyboard would work. Thirdly, this computer system has a TechRAM replacement floppy and hard disk controller, which is quite special. And it's special because instead of having an MFM hard drive controller electronics, this has a dual IDE hard disk electronics. And I've got a compact flash, bear with me, I've got a compact flash to IDE set of converters. So the hard disk card is taken, the original IBM card is taken out, this TechRAM card is put in, and it has got IDE outputs. Then via some little electronics card, the IDE interface is converted to compact flash, and so there are 2 compact flash cards in this machine. One is for the C drive and one is for the D drive. I think the C drive's got something like 32 megs and the D drive sort of similar size. And the idea is that ideally the machine would boot from the C drive, but that would never seem to work very well. So the machine boots from a 360K floppy, which is included, and then it boots onto the C drive, and on the C drive you've got all the utilities that you would need to run the imaging programs, principally Dave Dunfield's image disk. And then after that, once you've made your images, you can put them onto the D drive, which is a compact flash card, and then you can take that compact flash card out from this system and you can put it onto a modern 2025 system and easily get the images onto the internet. Or it also contains, which is very unusual, an ISA, because this is running an ISA bus only, although it's 16-bit bus, not just 8-bit bus. So it runs a 80 style bus, and on that bus is a Ethernet card with a RJ45 connector. So you can plug this old PC from 1980, early 1980s, into a modern Ethernet network and wired network, and you can use the DOS mode FTP, which is also on the C drive, to FTP files that you, or images that you've made to and from this system. So this system is, although it's a 1980s system, it's been retrofitted with these kind of modern features to make image generation and transfer quite easy. Also, back in the day when I was making images of 8-inch drives, this for a while had an 8-inch drive, set of 8-inch drives connected, and I'd read the floppy disks, the 8-inch floppy disks from those 8-inch floppy drives, save them onto this hard drive, typically on the, let's say, the D drive, and then I'd use image disk to image those drives into images, which I can put onto the internet. But then I'd also write those images onto a 3.5-inch drive, which is included in this system. And that 3.5-inch drive is a special 3.5-inch drive spinning at 360 RPM, which has got 80 tracks, which can also therefore emulate the 77 tracks of an 8-inch floppy disk. So I'm not shipping the 8-inch drives with this system because I don't have them anymore. But potentially, if you did have some 8-inch drives with an MFM interface, then you could connect those drives to this system as an additional floppy drive, read those physical 8-inch discs, create images, and also write those images to the 3.5-inch format, a special format with this special diskette drive. So all in all, this is, I think, a great vintage imaging system. A buyer in Poland has snapped it up, and I've gone to great lengths to try and package this up very, very carefully. It's padded in all different dimensions, and the last thought I had was to buy some of this L-shaped plastic bracketing, and I'm going to stick it around the 4 edges of this box here, and I'm going to duct tape it to the 4 edges at least, and at the top if there's any left over, to give this box a structure that will resist being crushed as it gets shipped all the way from the UK to Poland. So that's it. I'm sorry there's no visuals of the actual machine itself or it working, but it was absolutely working 100% fine before I put it in the box. It is some system. Again, in the days when IBM systems were still very maintainable, and even in those days, Apple was not so quite maintainable. Speak to you later, Dari.